Yeah, fun game. I made it a bit more interesting on the top side than it needed to be. But that was by design because I didn't just want to coast the game into a boring end game where you had no chance. So
Okay.
yeah, so I did have a look at a few of your recent games actually. So I was well prepared what kind of opening you like, and maybe a few of your weaknesses I had in mind. And I tried to design the game accordingly, but I'm not sure how much I succeeded there. But yeah, usually when my opponent pincers, because I play this pincer, I don't give the opponent this. But because I thought, okay, this is a teaching game and I want to see how well you know the variations, I tested you here. Have you seen this B17 stone move at some point?
Mm, no, to be honest, no.
Yeah, so the correct Joseki here is actually to sacrifice all these stones.
Okay.
Like usually, okay, white would play here, but I show another variation that's a bit more simple to understand, maybe. So something like this would happen, and now white can choose if white wants to add another move to erase all the RG, or if white wants to Tenuki. But basically, you are sacrificing these stones that still have some RG right now for the influence in all these directions. And this is black +1 or something like that.
Makes a lot of sense.
The problem here is the only way you want to play the move huge late in game, actually I should go back, yeah, is when white makes this mistake. And then you can push out, because then you can actually later, if we, for example, put it the same way, then you can later play this and actually kill this white group. Or at least it's a Seki or Ko or something. It's at least very bad for white. It's, yeah, I know this because I play this Joseki a lot, and Fox players like to make a mistake here. But if you can't do anything because the corner is just straight up alive, the problem is even this move is not necessarily 100% Sente, because once you play here, I can still easily play this and live myself, or at least get more liberties or something like that.
Yes, I realized that then. That's why later on I play F18, because also times 3.
Yeah. Yeah, so the problem with this position is locally you're not even 100% alive.
Yes.
Because I still have this move, but of course right now I can't really play this, because if I do this now, this is a bit too much, because now this is starting to be, well, a capturing race, which probably is not so great for black anymore. You can also push at B11. I would have to calculate. Maybe just works this way, but I'm sure there's other ways, because you don't need to take away your own liberty. So, yeah.
Also, black can connect at A17 and...
Yeah. Oh, true. Yeah. In this case, true. Yeah. Yeah. So as long as you always have F18, but for example, I could get something like this in Sente if I want to anytime.
Yes.
So yeah, you live small locally, and it's of course not the greatest result. Did you, not that you need to play it, but did you ever consider this move?
I did not. I was looking that there was a G with the diagonal connection there, but I didn't saw this move.
Because here this is slightly uncomfortable for white too. But at this point, probably it's a fight where you just make your top side group weaker, and I'm strong enough in the bottom left. But this option was always there, so I'm not even sure if you needed to play C15 right now because of that possible RG. But yeah, it's very hard, of course, to calculate that, and you already spent so much time to begin with. So
yeah,
better to live and live another day. I don't know. Great. Yeah. Anyway, so at this point, this is a bit unusual, H5. I saw it recommended at some point by AI, so I want to try it and see how do you deal with it. I think, yeah, this way There was always at this point this kind of cutting RG here, where you can just capture 2 stones.
Yeah.
Which just,
I was thinking that if that had happened, I was going to turn the honey on the side, and because I figured those stones were going to die. So
yeah, so that was a good choice to connect here at some point. But this one, this is where it went downhill for you.
Yeah.
So, whenever you play a move like this, which is funny because just today I reviewed a game of mine where I did the same mistake. Just in a bit of a corner complicated situation. So whenever you play this kind of move and you consciously, I mean, were you aware that this is really bad for your own group?
Yes, but I thought I could get some connection towards the outside, so like I probably was thinking that this could be good for me. Yeah, but it was just wishful thinking.
Yeah, I mean, you're still not alive. You still need to add another move now to your group.
Yes.
So you lose center, and all you did was make me really strong on this outside here.
Yes.
And which reduces the RG of d5 as we saw in the game. And so, yeah, if you want to do anything with this shape, you do need to play this one. Or what you can do is turn now and ask this question now before I get to decide that I don't want to play here. Because now I'm not going to play here. This doesn't affect these stones enough. So if you turn now, and it's kind of always free for you. Because if I play something here too early, then I can't really do the same thing easily as I did in the game, because you can still gain more liberties here towards this side first. And in some cases even decide to sacrifice the top left corner.
Yes.
Because the top bottom left starts to become a lot bigger. And you still have this mentioned RG with these things, and maybe some ways to harass this group in center to get more profit. So losing these 7 stones might just really be worth 14 points for white at that point, then, and that's not that big. Probably a little bit more, but yeah. But yeah, so if for example you turn here now and force me to play this way, now you have a lot more option. Now you can also ask questions like this.
Yes.
And notice that actually in all of these variations you never really want to play b10 because it just helps the white group on the outside anyway. You'd much rather in all of these variations, even if you do this, I mean, okay, if you do the same now I can't do this because that's also why I turned, because I didn't like the fact that you can now live in center if I cut you here. It's probably still fine for me because, yes, you got this in center, but I got all this outside here and my trouble in the bottom left corner is completely gone. But yeah, basically the problem with this move to begin with here was it was only really territory oriented.
I see, yeah.
Would you say that you in general think more about territory than groups, or?
I think I often think more about fighting the Swiss. Something that is, I think my style has changed a lot really quickly during the Congress. All the games that I won by Moyo.
Okay.
So I'm still changing a lot of my style of play.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that question. The question was in chat about c5 before, but yeah, I thought about doing a bit more influence oriented, and I guess because I do this pincer, I do have this influence on the top side, just with the different enclosure this I play here, but it's basically the same. And I do feel like I have a success with influence games too, but I still revert back to territory a lot. That being said, it's the difference between playing for territory and territorial thinking. So what this move is, you're thinking about the territory more or less there, and not about your groups. So it's not necessarily that you are only that you play for territory, but that your mind at this point is more on territory and less on the groups itself. Because yeah, so again, if you can exchange this now, and then you get to play this and even this or something, then maybe you can actually think about destroying this in a much better way, because now A and B are also not alive yet.
Yeah,
but
that makes more sense.
that, of course, needs to be considered what happens if white now surrounds. So this might still be a little bit too much, but just having these options and having exchanged this in the bottom left might already just be good exchanges for you. Just ask if you can do it now, because in the game I decided no, I'm going to play this and not let you do anything in the bottom left right now. Because now you committed more stones to your top left, so would be worth a lot more. And plus, if you were to ignore, I could kill this way, which reduces a lot more RG on the outside with these weak points, especially this one.
Yes.
And then, I mean, yeah, if you now kill my corner, maybe, I don't know, it's the best way, maybe just this, then, yeah, it's probably still pretty big for you. So maybe this is still something you could consider doing. But yeah, hard to give up so many stones after you already invested 3 more stones. And yeah, and then I decided, okay, I want to see the bottom left because, yeah, okay, let's do this one. Let's go to the bottom left. Let's keep this here. I'm not even sure how you can best do this, but what I know for sure is that at this point you shouldn't play here.
Yeah.
Here again, actually there could be some really annoying, I mean, you can't do this now because the 3 stones would be captured, but maybe you could kind of, like, if we for a second say, okay, this is maybe Sente because you could connect in, no, you can't do this, okay, never mind. Not quite enough RG there, but still some moves like this could become annoying towards this direction. So playing here and letting me reduce this, probably actually because I have so many more liberties, I could have just said I play something more daring like this. But I wanted to make it very clear that you're not alive here. So yeah, whenever you have this kind of attack against the corner shape, you have to be aware of there's more than just alive and death. There's also these really big eyes. And do you know how many liberties this has?
Like 8?
Yeah, 7 as it is now because you already played A2. So they 5 have 8 and then you placed 1 stone, so 7.
Yeah, so but you have the extra liberty because I cannot go directly to C1.
Oh, but you can play E1 in D1 in center. Because if I ignore, then you reduce my corner liberties by so much.
I see. Okay.
So this is always in terms of liberties. This is always so. It is effectively 7 liberties. Yeah.
Okay, I see.
And yeah, at this point it was, yeah, that's also why I responded here, because yeah, it's actually necessary here even. Yeah, so then this was Tainsuchi, yeah, and then this was probably a bit exciting. Oh yeah, I want to go back to the top right, so actually I'm not 100% sure, but I think here you can play here. Do you know these variations very well? Or?
Not very well, but I figured that most of the AG is around the P17 stone, because that gives you R18, P14. So yeah. I just wanted to take it out the AG. I had the night shifts towards the top. That was my thinking.
So in this case, I can't really. I mean, the double honey would be the nicest for white, but black can connect or actually black can cut here once, and then the ladder should work for white for this to be a real variation. And I don't think it does. I'm not hallucinating. So you could totally play this one instead and be a bit more forceful against my stones. Which especially is maybe a good idea because you are behind after. Well, actually, at this point you're not that far behind. You didn't yet die in the bottom left, but yeah. As 13 is what I know at least, yeah. This way it felt like I got all this and I got my strength toward this side. Yeah, then this happened. And this was not... Here actually, I was not sure, but you could also consider maybe counter Atari here. And just do this. So then you have A and B to kind of attack. And white can try to fight this ko, but man, this is also damaging ko for white. And you have probably... Okay, you have at least liberty, a threat like G5, or you can still play against the top left group probably. So you have ko threats. But yeah, that was maybe one option. Here you have just an empty triangle and live in gote again. So I get to exchange all that, and then yeah, here this was fine. This one I didn't. This one you have to explain to me. Why this one?
I wanted to get ahead of the J16 stone, but I figured that you have the Q13 stone seem to be closer to the J16 stone. That you maybe, if I just cap the J16 stone, it seems that you have more strength towards.
So, okay.
Like something like N14. Like I was thinking that you whistled your way out from there, but
M14. This?
Something like that, but
then I think J16 just gets captured pretty much.
Okay, yeah.
The point is, yes, I do have strength here, but I also have strength here actually. First of all, and second, you have a lot more strength, but much more importantly, you have strength here. You are the one who has strength at C. These are 2 lines further out than A, and they are closer to this bottom side. So it's a lot harder for me to run in this direction than it is to run in this direction, because there, lo and behold, you have D, which is actually weak.
Right.
So what instead I should have done here to make this game just comfortable is I just jump out, and now how do you attack these stones?
Right, I have to worry about life.
If you now have to crawl under, well then this is just free reduction for me. I can even still peep here maybe and just create my own on the outside. And you're still not 100% corrected if you play this way. Which is fine because your group should be fine, but yeah, it's uncomfortable. So the real one was to play from your weaker side here, from A. So if you cap now it's a lot harder for me. I can't jump out in this direction. I really don't want to play here because then I just get completely surrounded. And so I don't even have any desire to play in this direction other than to sacrifice that one stone, and then I might have played from there as well directly. Well, I guess it's still, yeah, it might be. It's difficult to say because the game is already quite good in this regard that I have all this influence here, so you can't build anything in the center.
And you're just hitting points in.
Yeah.
You have a lot in the bottom.
But I guess your best chance is to kill that one stone, and you do that by capping here. With this, like I mentioned, I can just jump out, and if you cap now, well then you have a lot more holes here and here. With this cut also being a thing, and I still have this as a resource to attack this whole group, so compared to the game, I basically have the same thing, but I am also out more, so it's even harder for you to kill this. And a bit later here, yeah, this was fine. Somehow I completely missed that you can just cut here, but this was fine, yeah, because here you needed to do something drastic, I think. And here I think you played pretty much the best way, but you just had to win this capturing race here, I think. Just play this out, and I'm not 100% sure we do this, but I think I just don't have enough liberties like this very clearly. Maybe there's a chance for me to get a liberty more somehow, and of course I wouldn't play this out all, and maybe for example, maybe I play this and then there's some, yeah, maybe I get some more liberties here. I'm not even sure. I was about to figure that out, but let's say you win this, then I would probably force a couple of times from here and then just take my center, and okay, I sacrificed quite a bit on the top, but I still gain enough to be ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, that was clear.
Right, but in the game you tried a little bit too hard at this point now. I mean, if it's, let's say I'm ahead by something like 10, then it's still a game where someone could mess up in endgame. But after this, after just get to connect, and if I remember correctly, even at this point, OJSAI is saying, no, you can totally do this. This is not scary at all. I guess it is not because, yeah, there's still the problem of... Okay, the reason I didn't like this because if you can play here now and I need to defend on the outside, then there's still this remote chance of a co here to kill my bottom left. But probably I take first, and if I take next, I also threaten to kill your top left, so sacrificing more. Probably nothing I needed to be afraid of, but I was very happy to just say, yep, I'm alive. You can take those 4 capture stones, and let's just end it here. And I think the rest of this, unless you have specific questions for the rest of this game, I don't have much more to say about the end, I guess.
No, I think that's okay. The thing is, the things I wanted to try out during the game, you show how to, how do you say this?
Refute, I guess.
You refute them, so that's okay.
Right. Yeah. So mainly, I think whenever you play, I mean, it is a very small sample size because this is one game, but look out for when you're actually creating more problems for yourself with these shapes than for the opponent. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for the game, and well, have fun in the current league, and good luck.
Thanks. Take care.
Take care. Bye bye.